All is one reflections, beautiful people. I am Priestess Almost Shule. I am an ancestral priestess. I am an Ori priestess. I am a spiritual warrior. I'm a spiritual avenger. And I am all that with a bag of chips and the dip. Okay, and so today I wanted to come here briefly to talk to you about high vibrational offerings for your ancestors. And so I know that there sometimes people are very hesitant about giving food to their ancestors. They feel like it might be a waste, they're wasting money, they're wasting food. But I am here to tell you that offerings is a proper exchange of energy, especially if you are petitioning your ancestors to do certain things. If you are trying to connect with your ancestors, it's energy. And so, even though your ancestors are not, you don't physically see them eating these offerings that you give them, um, they do use them. It is very beneficial to the ancestors and to those in the spiritual realm. And so we just want to, make sure that as we are building our relationship with our ancestors, that we are giving them high vibrational offerings. We are having a proper exchange of energy. Um, because if you want to build that relationship, if you want to see responses from your ancestors, they need energy. Okay. So I know there are some people that cook for the ancestors. That is totally fine. I cook a meal for my ancestors once a week, depending on what it could be breakfast food. Yesterday they had grits and biscuits. Sometimes they do grits and eggs. Sometimes they do black beans and rice. Sometimes they do chicken. And so on the weekend, I specifically cook for the ancestors. It has not failed me yet. My ancestors are full, they are satisfied, and I highly recommend you try it. Okay. And so, you know, even though you can cook for your ancestors, one of the main things that I do is I give my ancestors high vibrational offerings. Okay. And so I'm going to go through different high vibrational offerings um, to see, so to give you guys some ideas. Also, too, with these high vibrational offerings, you can keep on your altar longer. It has more ashe. It has instead of like cooking and then you have to dispose of it the next day. So with all that being said, let's just briefly talk about different offerings that you can give your ancestors. Of course, we know spring water, um, glasses of water always help with the ancestors. Um, we also know gin. Gin is a must as well. So I know as far as my ancestors say gin and rum. So spring water, gin, that's a must. And so let's also talk about flowers. Okay. So I have some flowers here that I give my ancestors. And so if you are worried about wasting money and spending money weekly on, buying your ancestors food and things of that sort, flowers are a high vibrational offering that you could give your ancestors. They are alive. Flowers are alive, right? And so you can give your ancestors flowers. And so one of the some of the flowers that you can give your ancestors, you can give your ancestors any flowers. You could give them a plant. You could pick one of those hanging plants that our grandmother has, and you can put it on the altar. And that way, it's a live plant, but also too, you don't have to worry about refreshing it because it's dying and such as flowers. Okay, so for me, baby breaths are great. Flowers for the ancestors, as you can see, the baby breaths. So baby breaths are for purity, innocence, everlasting love, okay, sincerity, hope, and spirituality. So if you are petitioning your ancestors for these certain things, guess what, you can give offerings based off the things that you are petitioning for your ancestors. Okay. Roses. Roses are great offerings for the ancestors, depending on what color you have. You know, white roses are great, yellow roses are great, any type of roses. But in general, roses, the spiritual properties of roses, of course, we know love, healing, enhance your psychic powers. Roses bring in luck and protection. So if you're looking for love, of course, if you are trying to call more love into your life, if you are trying to heal, if you are trying to enhance your psychic powers, you know, you can do purple roses. If you want to bring in more luck, protection, roses are great for that. Another great offering to give your ancestors is, in regards to flowers, are sunflowers when they are in season. So sunflowers are good for to call in fertility, to help manifest your wishes, to bring in more wisdom, and to promote, you know, positive health. Okay. And the last one that I'll go over is lavender. So depending on who you talk to, lavender could be a herb, lavender could be a flower. Some people use them interchangeably. So lavender is great. I give my ancestors lavender, especially when I want to call in more peace into my life. Okay. If my life is just chaotic, like it always is, I'll give my ancestor lavender. It could be fresh lavender or it could be dry lavender. And then I'm calling in peace. I'm asking my ancestors to bring in more peace into my life. I'm asking for purification. And of course, always protection, longevity, happiness. So if those are the things that I'm calling in, lavender would be great. So do not negate, you know, don't pass up on flowers. Your ancestors cannot eat the flowers, but guess what? It's still energy, it's still energetic. And so that is a proper exchange of energy with your ancestors. Okay. Now, another thing that I like to give my ancestors, and they greatly appreciate, is coffee beans, whole coffee beans. Coffee, as we know, is an energizer. I don't know if you can see that. Coffee can bring in protection. So if I need my ancestors to work fast, and to get some energy behind some stuff that's going on in my life, coffee would be the best. Okay. Now, if you don't have coffee beans last longer compared to sweet coffee, just, you know, brewing a cup of coffee and putting sugar in there. That's also a great offering as well. So sweet coffee is just brewed coffee with sugar, honey, however you want to do it. It's sweet. And so if you want that extra energy, you want that extra protection, you need that extra push from your ancestors. Coffee beans are great. Coffee grounds are great as well. And then they last long. And so you don't have to change it out after a few hours. You know, you don't have to replace it daily. Always divine to see, do a divination to see if your ancestors want you to remove the coffee grounds. So coffee beans are great. I would highly recommend. If you want some energy from your ancestors, coffee is the thing. Okay. And so, of course, whole fruit. I would highly recommend you put whole fruit. Whole fruit is high vibrational. Um, Whole fruit lasts longer than cut up fruit, than that the little cup things. You know, at the end of the day, you do what you can do with what you got. Okay. And so there's no judgment here, but I would highly recommend, you know, giving them high vibrational fruit. So pineapple is a favorite for my ancestors. They love pineapple. Pineapple, the spiritual properties for pineapple is to bring in luck and money, to call in luck and money. And it lasts longer as well. It lasts longer than certain fruit, give or take like a week. I change it out weekly. And so my ancestors love pineapples. Okay. My ancestor also love coconut. So these might be for the island ones, you know, from my ancestors that are from the island. They love them some coconut. Okay. And so coconut is for purification and protection. You could put a whole coconut on there with you don't have to open it up, you don't have to crack it, keep the water in there, and just get a coconut high vibrational, very high vibrational for your ancestors. And like I said, coconut brings in purification and protection. Okay, so then we also have oranges. My ancestor love oranges. Oranges, they they can last a while. Okay, they can last. You don't have to. Honestly, I've left oranges on there for longer than a week. Okay, and they have not went bad. And our divine and the ancestors said, no, we want that. Okay, so oranges also has the property to bring in luck, money, love, to call it love as well. And then we have lemons. Lemons is for longevity, purification, and love. So those are also great offerings that won't spoil fast. Also, bananas. Bananas are my ancestors also love bananas. Okay, so it's between the pineapples, the bananas, and the oranges. They like that's like yeah, we want more. And so bananas are for fertility and prosperity. So if I need my ancestors to bring more prosperity in my life, if I need help fertilizing there's an idea that I have, but I just can't get it together. Um, I give my ancestors bananas, and you will see how it doesn't spoil fast. It doesn't spoil like if you have it on the counter. I've had bananas last. We're talking about weeks on the altar, and it ain't turned black at all. No gnats, no anything. So that's just let you know how spirit works. Okay, and so the more that you work with your ancestors, the more that you will see what your ancestors like. You could give apples. You could give pears. My ancestors don't really rock with the apples or whatever too much. They more so like the offerings that I said before, but but apples will work, pears, plums. I've given them those sweet peppers, the small little sweet peppers as well. Give them peppers. If you need some fire in your life, you need to get really energize them. Hot peppers as well. Eggplant. So you can test it out and see. I know for sure as far as the vegetables, my ancestors love the sweet peppers. And so I just added in with my offerings. Okay. And then also as well, it doesn't spoil fast. It does not. There's no mold. There's no gnats, any of that. So yeah, that's a little tidbit. Now let's talk about the last thing, which are herbs. Okay, so let's talk about cinnamon. I give my ancestors cinnamon as well. My ancestors love cinnamon. You could just put the cinnamon sticks right on the altar. You could put it in a little shot glass if you like. I like mine to be a little organized. It's just probably the Virgo in me. And so cinnamon calls in spirituality. Cinnamon calls in spirits. Okay. And so you need to be very specific about using cinnamon, especially for those that do the first of the month ritual. You're blowing cinnamon into your house. You want to make sure that you are inviting the proper spirits into your house. You don't want no chaos or confusion. So when you're giving cinnamon, make sure that you're specific about it. These are for the ancestors of divine ancestors of love and light, those that protect me, those that want the best for me. So cinnamon is good for spirituality, to call in spirits. Cinnamon can call in success, healing, power. It can help enhance your psychic abilities. It can bring in love. It can bring in money. Okay, so if you need a little prosperity in your life, cinnamon, and it smells good. And then another thing about cinnamon, you don't even have to change this out every week. You can leave it on. If you want to leave it on once a month, make sure you divine, because divination is key. And your ancestors will tell you when they are done with these offerings. Okay. Another one, as you can see, is rosemary. So I try to be a little nice in my presentation with my ancestors and stuff. Put a little effort into it. So fresh rosemary. I love fresh rosemary. I love rosemary to eat. I love the taste of rosemary. I love to put it in my hair to stimulate my growth. I like the essential oils. I like everything about rosemary and the representation. Okay. Rosemary is for healing. If you need to call more healing into your life, if you need to have call in protection, it's great for protection, to enhance your mental powers, for purification, for love. Rosemary is excellent. And um and if you just want to, you can dry it out as well. A tip that I do, you might want to divine with your ancestors. After I give my ancestors the herbs, I dry them, I make sure that they're dried out, and I put it into working. I put it into working instead of, going out and getting the ones that's already been dried and packaged with probably the little mice feces and stuff. They say the USDA, whatever, well, FDA, Food Drug they allow a certain percentage of like animal feces or whatever to go into. Let me not get into it. So if you have a garden, even better. If you want to get them fresh from the grocery store, like I said, just make sure you wash them down, pat them, and dry them great. You could dry them and have them dry out, and when they're dry, put it in working. Add it to your herb collection. Okay. And so another one of my favorites is mint. So I actually took a lot of the mint off the stems because they can dry out ease faster. But fresh mint, my ancestors love fresh mint. Um, and I actually give it to them as an offering, and I let them dry. Once they dry it out, I added to my pile of herbs, because also too, any work that I'm doing with my ancestors, I mean any work that I'm doing, I'm including my ancestors. So it has the ashe to it. And so mint is good to call it money. If you need quick work, mint, add mint to it. Mint is good for healing, for travel. If you need an exorcism, okay, you spitting out split pea soup or whatever, mint can help with that, and mint is good for protection. So I just take it off the stem, and I just put in a little shot glass, let them get the ashe, the essence. I leave it on there for until they're completely dried, and then I just add it to my working. So these are the mint. Like I said, it's fresh. I don't have a garden, so I get them for the grocery store, pat them down, clean them, pat them down, and it's just better than the prepackaged one. But you know what? Like I said, we get what we can get with what we got. So if you don't have the time or the energy to dry your own herbs and stuff, by all means, do what works for you. Okay. And so this is what worked for me, and this is years of working with my ancestors, figuring out what it is that they like, figuring out what they don't like, how do they respond to certain offerings. The ancestors respond to certain offerings that you give them, like I said. So um and so last but not least, we will change. Okay. Change is good. So at the end of the week, if you have extra, little pocket change, you're digging a little deep in your pocketbook, like they used to say in the church house when we ain't give enough offering, they're like, you better dig a little deep in your pocketbook. Change. So I take the change and I gave it to my ancestors. I put it in a little money jar, let it sit there, because also too, money is a currency. It's uh, there is an orisha that is a currency. Okay, that's for another time. But um just as well as the ancestors, want money in the physical, when they're physical, spiritually too, they still need money as well. So don't think that your ancestors don't want offerings. They don't want money and things of that sort, because they are on the other side. This is ashe. You are building up your ancestral treasury. So when shit goes left and you not even in tune with your ori or in tune with your ancestors, and you don't even know, guess what? Your ancestors are already on top of it. The spirits that walk with you are already on top of it. Why? Because they're full, they're fed, they're satisfied, they're energized, and guess what? They ready to rock and roll. Also too, honey is a great offering. And honey is to sweeten situations, to add sweetness to your life. My ancestors love honey. I love honey, okay? And so when I need to add sweetness to my life, definitely honey is a way. And so that is just a brief discussion on high vibrational offerings for your ancestors. Hopefully, you will try some of these ideas. Like I said, whole fruit is better than cut up fruit. It lasts longer. You can be creative. You see, I have little rosemaries and stuff in my stuff. So you could be, creative with your stuff. You don't have to have one type of flower. Like you see, I have different types of flowers in here. And so, um, just test it out. Cloves are good for protection if you need protection for things. If you need to call in money, that is also great. Vegetables, whole vegetables are good, especially if they're vegetables that your ancestors really enjoyed when they were here physically. And so, hopefully, this helped you. Hopefully, you have some new ideas on what to give your ancestors. And also, it doesn't always have to be cooked food. It doesn't always have to be um, food. Like I said, you can give flowers, but always make sure you have some gin, some rum, some OT, and some water on your altar. And then also too, make sure that you're maintaining your altar as well. You see bugs in there, take them, remove it, change the water. You see bugs in the flowers and stuff. It's wintertime here, so I mean not winter yet, but it's getting cool out here. So there's not as many bugs, but bugs in the flowers, take them out. And when you're giving, make sure that you're giving from a place that is not you're not begrudgingly giving. You're giving because you know that what the ancestors can do. You're giving it because you love your ancestors and you want the best for your ancestors. Okay, you know that there's going to be time that you're going to go to this crossover to the spiritual realm, and you're going to want someone to venerate you as well. Okay, so and then even if for those that's just like, you know what, I don't feel comfortable leaving the food on there for a long period of time. Give them some portions of your food before you take your first bite. Put a little spoonful of each little thing on the altar. Make sure you guys are putting in white plates, white or clear plates. Okay, don't be putting no stuff in no black plates and all other stuff. You want intention with this. That you have to be intentional when you're working with spirit. You have to be precise when working with spirit, especially these spirits of love and light. Okay, and high vibrational. So that is a quick discussion on high vibrational offerings for your ancestors. I hope that this has helped someone out. And thank you for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Make sure you share. If you haven't shared, share with someone who is starting on their ancestral veneration journey, and they may be confused or just need a little guidance on, what to give their ancestors. So I am Priestess Omo Shule, and like I always say, pray with me, don't play with me.